Welcome to 101 on how to feed your African gray. I have this one bird that is now about 2.5 weeks old that we're gonna start feeding. Before I usually do everything in the morning, I always put him on a scale and measure, and I keep track of his weight. That way I know that he's gaining weight. And I also mark down the time so I know when the next time he needs his feeding. I usually feed about every 4 hours on that account. Now, what I usually do is I have hot water right here because you got to maintain about 90 degrees because if you serve it to him cold, he won't go for it. I just messed up. What the consistency that you're trying to locate, which is I'm using the exact KD food for him. What I usually try to do is make it more like applesauce. You want to give him some body to it, but you don't want to have it so thick that he can't swallow or do anything else. And you don't want to have it too thin because then he's not going to get any of the nutrients, and so you got to have it kind of thick like this, you know, where it's not exactly, it's just a little under soupy. That's a great mixture right there. Right now I'm using a 10 millimeter, but when he gets a little older, you're going to want to do a 20 milliliter. Oh, milliliter. You're going to need a 20 millimeter.
Milliliter.
Yeah, because right now, as it happens to be, he takes 1.5 of these. I always have paper or towels with me or napkins because you got to make certain everything is clean. What I usually do is I will turn the bird, because when you do feed, you always want to feed from this side. Because if you feed on this side...
Can you try to get his head closer? Yeah. Perfect.
I'm not used to doing this. Perfect. If you feed from this side, you can also end up where the food goes inside his lungs, and that will kill your bird. You really don't want to do that. But I usually lift up his head because he doesn't realize that food's coming yet. And he will start eating. And you just slowly put it in. Now, I've seen a lot of people where they just inject the whole thing in the system. You don't want to do that, because if you miss and it goes into his lungs, you no longer have a bird. So I usually wait and check, and fill up his beak, and he swallows, and we just keep this continuous feeding going. And if he gets a little messy, because this stuff is really like cement, so you can't leave the food on him, because it'll be really hard later to get it off. But you just add a little at a time, and they will eat. So this is how you feed a 2.5-week-old African gray.
Good.
You want to cut it? I'm not sure.